And there we go. Welcome to the stream. So, yes, we were in the middle of adding indexing to the assets or the files in the project so that you can more easily find the location of files and their data by an ID instead of the file name. Yeah, and let's see where. Yeah, here's the to-do list. So basically, to recap the plan here, is that, well, right now if we go through how it is like we have a bunch of assets. They are basically JSON files in the project folder or directory, and each asset, when it references some other assets, for example the tile map has a reference to the tile set texture, or an even more easy maybe example is the animation, which has a reference to the sprite sheet texture, and so that reference is kept as a file name. But when I want to change it to be an ID instead, but so that you can keep things, everything should have an ID, and it should be unique, of course, and it should also like point to the file that you need, that so that you can get the data. So it's basically like that, and then you can reorganize the files however you want. You can move the files, and the index is going to be updated, and it's going to basically yeah, so it means that each asset has, each reference in an asset is not going to have to change, because right now if you move a file, then the texture file is in a different location, so the animation will break if you do that. But if you just have an ID, it won't break. And instead of keeping track of every time you move a file and update every asset that is has the reference to that file, instead we just update the index, and so then every asset that reference that asset will have the correct location just by updating the index. And you can easily rebuild the index from scratch each on startup to always have like an up-to-date index. So let's say you moved files manually, when the program is closed, then it doesn't know that you've moved a file, so we can just rebuild the index from there. So you don't even really need to save the index file as a JSON. We're doing it though because it's a little, I guess, yeah, it's a little bit faster, so you don't have to what is it? Yeah, so you don't have to rebuild it, but I don't think the rebuild takes that long. So, but anyway, yeah, so what we have done is we have put an ID on each asset. So this one is actually done. We have yeah, we're creating an index file. We're loading it on startup. We are saving it on update. Well, this is, well, it is true right now. The only update that we have is creating a new asset, but we also want to update it when moving files, but we haven't actually implemented a way to do that yet. So the only way to actually and also deleting files, but the only way to actually update the index right now, or the only need for it, is when we create new assets, and that's already implemented. yeah, and I think that it is implemented, but we are encountering bugs and crashes and stuff. So we're in the middle of fixing that, I believe, from the last stream. Okay, and then we have each asset referencing other assets should use the asset ID instead. So that is not implemented yet, but we're going to move towards that, and we have to change sort of the format of the JSON files to do that. Then we have document containers should use asset IDs and keys. So this is not true anymore. I don't think we are doing that. It has the absolute path, and then the index is using the keys to find the path, and then we're using that path to find the data in the document container. So we probably should have the document container just have the asset ID, because then you don't have to like change the key, like move the thing in the container. So it's probably better to just have it as an asset ID. So this one should be really nice, really good to change to. Well, I guess it's a requirement if we want it to work like this. And then we have whenever an action is made that should update index, we update the index. Right, so this is basically the same thing as this one. So moving assets, so we don't have that yet. Creating, we have completed. Deleting, we don't have this, but when we have this, we wanna update it. So, but we have the means to do it, so I guess we can check that. So, I mean, this is basically the same thing here. Right, this is only for the file, I guess. So we're updating, but we are saving it, so that should be fine. Okay, and then all assets requiring a JSON file that includes the ID, textures. All assets require JSON file. Oh yeah. So now we've implemented for textures. We've implemented a JSON file, which is so now you can actually create a JSON or a texture asset that you can then put in the asset library, and you will select a texture that's somewhere on your drive, and it will create a JSON file that will reference to that texture file. So it's like a halfway between actually putting the texture in the project itself. It's outside of the project, but it references to that file. So that should be good for now. Yeah, so we have a lot of the things in place, but there are a lot of changes left to do to make the system work with the current setup here. So yeah, let's continue with where we left off. Pretty sure we had some issues here. Let's try and compile, see what we get. If I can remember where we ended up. Okay, so we don't have compiler errors. Interesting. I guess we might have like fixed the last one and then never actually run the thing. Okay, so let's see. I think we were testing removing this texture asset and then creating it again to see if it actually works. Okay, so there it crashes, right? So it crashes when we try to save or create a new asset. And here you can see all the, yeah, so we are actually adding it. It's created. We're loading in the file that I chose to create with, So it created the asset, but the index does not update with this ID here. And I also checked the length of this. This is 33. Actually, it's 34 items. Okay, let's see if we can get some more information here. Yeah, I think it's this one. Get index. Yeah. So here we're trying to match the index. Let's also print out the path. So this would be values. Right, it should match. It should match the same. It should be the same order. I need to remove this file again. Let's look at the information that we got. Right, so now you can see all the file names as well. And if we see, it should end up at the bottom here. So here you see that we actually have the texture.json file in the index, but I think the ID is like it's wrong. So actually, let's also double check. Is this the same? Yeah, it's the same. Okay, so these IDs saying the same. This one, 0193. Yeah, it's a totally different ID. So somewhere, I think maybe it's the ID that gets like generated. We're using the wrong ID here for some reason. So the index seems to work. Maybe it's the ID that we're using to find it that's wrong. So this texture document, we're creating a new asset here. That actually does, yeah, that creates a new ID. Now we're doing this load, but that shouldn't do anything. Maybe we're saving the wrong ID here. Oh, we're actually not, well, wait a minute. Yeah, we're returning the thing here. Now I want to check the document is created here. It's immutable. So at this stage we have a random ID. Then we call this, but it doesn't matter. We call save here, and then we put it in the storage. And we also grab content here. So it's like this get ID is different from the one, because we're returning this content here. Which is this one. Wait, when does the error happen? Here. Yeah, this is a content that we get back. Okay, let's check. What is the texture non-persistent here? This one only loads the texture, doesn't do anything else with persistent data here. Where the ID, this is where the ID is. The persistent data. I don't know why the ID would change. Let's log. Like right after we've got it. Let's log here. Whoops. No, actually. Yeah, it already has. Wait, it doesn't have. It doesn't have serialized function for format. It only has for JSON string. Maybe we should add a format function here. So that the format of like the built-in can format it as a special case. Well, like it will call the format function. I forgot how to do it. You just have to specify like a function on it, I think. Like I know it's in. Let me show the browser here. It's gonna be in. Wait, this is. Oh, why is it so big? Okay, whatever. Standard JSON formatter. Yeah. Yeah, this function. So if you implement that, then you will you will be able to use it just straight up in a function like this. So you can do this instead of, you can just pass this in instead of like setting up a special formatter like a JSON formatter or anything else like the serialize thing. So what you would do is you get this thing. I don't think we need to look at the spec self. We do need we don't need to look at options. We do need the writer. So this is gonna be, I mean, it's basically gonna be this. We just pass it into stringify. Although that needs it to be a pointer. I guess we can use this. We could just pass it here. This doesn't need to be since it has write, it should work. I think it should be like write all or something like that. Let's just do write all. There we go. So now we can log the ID out here. So this ID is now logged out right after we put the thing in the new asset. So let's see if we can. I'm also gonna remove the file again. Oh, we got some errors, compile errors here. Oh, I see. We need this to be a pointer. Right, so here's the ID comes out here. And it's the same that's used here. So I'm not sure why it's looking for this ID. Like, where does this ID come from? So this is the correct ID. After here, we're getting the ID again. I need to remove this again. Okay, let's check this again here. Right. It's different now. So here it's one ID, here it's another ID. So something happens in between here. Like in one of these two lines of code, something happens to it. Okay, I'll just do process of elimination here. Okay, so the first 2 times it's the same. Third time after it's loaded. So something is different here. So something's happening here that is changing the ID. I don't understand how, because, well, okay, let's go in, let's look what's happening here. So this is the structure where something changes. And I don't understand, because we're not even doing anything. We're checking for length of the path, which it should have length greater than 0. So it goes in, it loads texture with raylib. Right. We're accessing texture file path. So, okay. So I don't understand. That should not change the ID here. Could it be that whatever we... Oh, it's probably because the thing we're returning is not the actual memory location to the source here. I think the yeah, okay. I think that's the issue. Like, we're returning like a temporary memory space. This function is supposed to return the document, a pointer to the document. And it is. Well, that, yeah, that one I think it works. Oh yeah, it's new asset. Sorry, new asset. Yeah. Here. So this one is returning a pointer here. The pointer is returning is this. Content is accessing on this one, which is just a local variable here. So this is wrong. We need to actually, well, where we store this is in the, here, in this hash map. So we need to grab the document out of the hash map and return the thing there. So the content here is actually, well, we need to grab the stored document from the hash map. So this would be the absolute file path Z, and we know it exists. I guess we can say or else unreachable as well. Yeah, so we get that, and we have to use this one instead. There we go. Okay, now, because I think what happened was it like overwrote this memory space that we randomly returned, and then yeah, that actually made it look like the ID was changed. I think that's what's happening here. That's my guess anyway. So let's see if this still works. Expected type texture document found. Okay, expected nullable documents texture found const. Okay, so it's the const thing. Wait, what? This needs to be a pointer, I think. Get pointer. Yeah. Okay, let's try this again now. And the texture. Okay, it did not crash now. And we get the texture here. Okay. And then what? Then we check. Yeah. So here you can see the ID now stays the same here. Okay, great. It's a bit tricky sometimes this when you return something that is actually not. It's just a temporary sort of address. You're returning an address to a local variable. If like a local variable in a function. So yeah, that can lead to all sorts of issues. It's like undefined behavior, which we encountered there. So okay, well, we managed to get through it, so that's good. Okay, so I don't remember what the step was. We did this like in the middle of last stream. We were doing something here and we ended up getting into this issue, but now it's fixed. But now I don't remember what the next step was. So it was about like creating a new asset that is a texture, and we can do that now. And we also wanted to double check the index file that it was like properly updated. So I'm just gonna see if we can open this up here. Actually, let's just do this. And there we go. Now we found the texture there. Okay. So now now you can create a new asset. It will be added to this JSON file with all the keys or the index. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So now let's go to our to-do. We have a couple of other things we need to do to make this whole system work. So yeah, each asset referencing other assets should use the asset ID instead. So before we used the, well, right now we're using the absolute file paths to reference other assets, but now we want to change that to be using the ID instead. So we can go to, for example, animation here. So here's the texture part. So this is like a reference to a texture, but I want to change it to, instead of being a path, we want to change it to be an ID. So first thing we want to do is just updating this to be named like texture ID instead. And yeah, I guess it's a nullable ID. And then let's see. We have a whole bunch of places where this is used now. Well, only these places, but we don't need to free this anymore, so that's a good thing. So we don't actually need to do that. We can, I guess we can set it to null if it's like deinitialized here. It doesn't really matter that much. We set this to null. Texture path here. This is just a clone, so I think, yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be a matter of saying clone.texture ID is equal to texture ID on self. So that's the only thing you need to do. Okay. And then we have animation document, which surely has texture path referenced here. Yeah. So get the texture file path, set texture. Yeah, these are the two things. So I have to rethink a little bit how we do this, because now instead of getting a file path for the texture and then requesting a document, we can just, yeah, we get the texture ID instead. Yeah, and then request by the ID. And yeah, I'm not using refactoring right now because my LSP is not working anymore. I know I said last stream that I was supposed to fix this until next time, but I haven't done it. I haven't had time to do it, so we just have to live with this for now. Okay, I just want to fix this. I just want to like finish this feature here, and then I'll do it. Okay, but anyway, so we have data set texture. So the text. So we should actually get an ID in now instead. Texture ID. And then we don't need to free, and we see it's already a lot easier to deal with. And then we just set. Yeah, we don't need to do anything here. We don't need texture ID is equal to texture ID. That's the only thing we need to do. We don't need the allocator. Okay, very nice. So now I need to look for this. Yeah, I think this is the only. We don't need the allocator. Yeah, this is also something like set texture. Like we can set the texture now by using the asset manager instead. So before we actually open a file dialog, if you're in the animation editor and you want to set the texture to something, you click this button, it will open up a file dialog and you would choose the texture, and then we set the file path. Now we have the assets manager with the asset ID for the texture instead. So this button won't really exist anymore. We do instead, what we do is well, we can have like an input, I guess, that is like a reference to specific, to like an asset, to like a texture, and then that thing will have like a drop target where you can drop in a texture, or you could have a button for set texture, but it will choose from the assets manager. We could do it like that also, like either a pop-up where you select like a texture, or just select something in the assets manager. I mean, I kind of like both, really. The good thing about having an input where you can drop something in is like you're using the assets manager to find whatever you need, so that we can improve that to make it better to work with. If we do like set texture and then you get a dialog, like a mini assets library that you can choose from, then that will be like its whole own thing that you have to deal with and implement. So that's the thing. I wonder if we can just have... Okay, I'm gonna check the documentation of Mingui here. Let me find it. Right, so here is sort of like a manual for MGUI. And we want to find why is it like highlighting? Okay. What we want to find, what did we want to find? We want to find like a drop target, like a drag and drop. Yeah, here we go, drag and drop, standard widgets. Okay, so that's like... Okay. So basically it's something like this. You drag and you drop that. You ever get this like ghost element kind of thing? Where is this? It's over here, drag and drop. Standard widgets. So you have two columns, or what is this? So color edit. Oh, colors. Sorry, two colors. Okay. So two color inputs. Color edit 3. Oh, is this like fully built in then? Right. Okay. That's pretty nice actually, because we can add like a color, like easily add like color input, color pickers and everything, like built in. That's cool. Color, wait. At least I think if these functions like color edit 3, color edit 4 are in the standard sort of MGUI, it should be easy to use. Copy swap items. Okay, move. Okay. Okay, let's see how this is done. So what I want is like to have some sort of drop target where... Yeah, here we go, drag drop target. So you have both like a source and a target on the same thing. But we just want a target. And here, so you can sort of save a payload as well. Here we're setting the payload. So you're setting like a pointer and the size, okay. And you have to call accept drag drop payload. Okay, so you have like an ID for the type of payload, I guess. And then you get the payload out, which is an MGUI payload thing, and you can check the data size, and you can sort of convert the data here. Okay. All right. So if we go back, okay, what I also wanted to see was how you like draw the button. So I guess you just put drag drop source after the item that you want it to be, and also the same for target. So what we first want to do is render some sort of input, like a disabled input or something like that. Just like a label with border, maybe. I'm not sure if you can do that. Is there like a border table? So I just want a text with some border, basically. Is that possible? Let's try making an input here. And this one is going to be the texture ID. And we have arguments. So we have the buffer, flags, oh yeah. So the buffer is gonna be I guess we'll just use the ID for now. No, let's not do an input here. Let's just use the text because it's way easier to do. So this is just gonna be like you know, whatever here. Let's do whatever it is. Animation document get texture ID. I guess it's nullable, so we have to do this. Okay, and we don't have this set texture. What we have is we have a begin drop target. And then we end it. Okay, and then we do. I mean, we have our own sort of payload system as well, so we can check if. Do we have asset library somewhere here? No. I'm just gonna do this assets library payload. So if we have a payload, then let's see. Yeah, so if we have a payload, then does this mean we are actually dropping something here? Do you have to use the system to make this work? I guess we'll find out. So let's copy this. This one is going to be set to null afterwards. Let's just do this. You don't have to type this whole thing out. Okay. What's happening here? Wow. Oh. There we go. So, we check for the payload, we set it to null. And then what we want to do is we want to check if the payload wait, yeah, if the node is a file, well, if it's a directory, if it's a directory, we don't do anything. If it's a file, we want to check if document type is equal to a texture, and if it is, then we want to do something. Okay. So if it's a texture, we want to set the texture of the animation. So now we can say animation dot this set texture, and the texture ID is gonna be something here. Then it would be nice if all the nodes actually had the IDs as well, but what we can do is we can look for the ID, I guess a reverse lookup in the index, because then we don't actually have to load the data of that file in order to look up the ID. So we could do a reverse lookup in the index. File path, and these paths are relative to the root. Yeah, we just have to make this function, then we can pass that in and set the texture there. Okay, so we need to define this function. Okay. Now, how do we do that? Well, we have the index. Why is this working? Okay, but anyway, we have the index, so we're gonna have current project return. I guess it's nullable since it might not exist. Well, I guess, yeah. And then we want to find the ID. So here we're doing the same thing except the other way around. But here we want to find the ID by file path. So we're putting it in there, and then we return that. Yeah. And then in asset index we also need now to provide this function. So get ID okay, and this one is going to be file path. So instead of looking for, instead of doing get by key. We want to get by. I guess we could just loop through. It's not going to be indexed anyway. I guess we have to loop through the thing. Get. Yeah. Unless we keep like 2 indexes. One for the other way around. I guess you could do that also, but yeah. It's gonna double the size. Well, I guess it's not that big of a deal. But anyway, I think for now we're just gonna do values. So we're gonna loop through the values. And we're gonna have to do an equal here. And if it's true, we return. Yeah, we need to keep the index. We return keys. Fine. And if we didn't find it, we return null. Okay. So that's the reverse lookup here. And yeah, as I said, you could keep 2 hash maps, and so that you didn't have to loop through here. I use the same like indexing for the reverse lookup as well. But anyway, now this should all be good. And then back here, this can now be null, so okay, I don't know what's going on with the LSB, but anyway, yeah. So if it's null, I guess we will do or else unreachable, since we are using the. It should exist, so I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so now this should actually be enough to do it. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, we also have to change like we have to change the JSON files as well. No field or member function name get texture file. Okay. We still have some things to work out here. So instead of getting the file path, we get the ID. And then I guess we could make a function here as well. Request texture. Oh yeah, this doesn't do anything right now. But let's do texture by ID. We need this also by ID. Okay. Yeah, by ID. Otherwise it's the same. and instead of path we'll do ID. Okay. Now this will get texture. This is a texture document. Yeah, this just returns the texture here. Yeah. Okay. Oh, but also, yeah. Is it loading it as well? I guess it is if we're requesting it. Yeah, okay, whatever. Let's go back here now. So we're requesting, so let's request by ID instead. And we pass the ID in here. Use of undeclared self. Ah, this has to be self. Else, okay, this has to be this. Expected type UID found. Right. Okay, yeah, so the key is actually not the UID format, so this is gonna be like a string, and then we have to use, I think, earn to deserialize this. So then we get that, but then we also have to wrap it in this one. Yeah. Let's just catch unreachable, yeah. Get texture. Okay, yeah. Reload texture. I mean, it's gonna be the same thing. Get ID. We get the ID instead. Reload document. I guess we have to create this function as well. By ID. Unload document. Okay, yes, now we need to get the file path. So this would be get path. No. Yeah. Path, yeah, so we get the path, now we have the path, and we do, because Yeah, the document container we should change so that the key is actually the ID instead of the path, but we wish. And in order to do that, actually, we need to build a new type of hash map. But yeah, I'm gonna do that as well. It's part of this feature here, but I'm not gonna do it right now. I just want to make this work first. So that should be it for that, I think. We're unloading a document. So when are we actually doing that? Right, when we're reloading. Yeah, that should be fine. I don't think we're doing it anywhere else, no. Okay. So now we can do by ID there, yeah. Great. Right, draw frame. Yeah, so now we have texture file path here. Let's get by ID, get ID, and I can get this by ID instead. Texture ID. Oh. There we go. Okay, same thing here. And request texture also by ID. Okay. So right. So it couldn't open this now because the format is wrong. So if we go, so we changed the JSON a little bit. So if we go to projects and button, texture path is not texture path. This has to be the ID. So we could like automatically try to write a script that does this or do it manually. I'm not sure what takes the longest, to be honest. Let's just do it manually, sure. We have the index file, so we can just... I think, yeah. Let's save this so we can find it better. So here's the, that's that. We need the texture. Oh, we don't even have it yet. So we actually need to go in here and create this texture from there. Okay, so now we should have that. And here's the texture. So we just copy the ID now. And there should be a texture ID. And we copy the ID. And we put it there. Okay, so now let's try and open this. And there you go. Yeah. So we got all that working. And here you see like this is not that nice though. This only shows like the ID here. Preferably we want to show the texture name, or maybe even like a label. But if we, for example, take this other texture, where is it? Here. And we try to drop it now. Will it update or no? Okay, so it didn't work. The drag drop thing did work. Okay. So maybe you have to use like the payload system for that, or wait, what? We could also see if we do a left click thing. It's not going in here though. Is there a way to like check if the mouse is within the item? Okay, maybe we should change this to use the built-in payload thing instead. So yeah, to do that we have to go to Asset Manager, and then we have drag drop. So here's the drop source. So instead of doing this, also I'm not sure what this does, I'm just gonna remove this. We should have something. So set drag drop payload, and then a sort of label or ID here, and then the thing. I'm pretty sure that the integration here actually got rid of the size, because we can get that automatically. So set drag drop payload. Set drag drop payload. Right, so this one, yeah, I think we just set this to be asset. I just want to check. When we do accept, do you only check for that? Was accept drag drop payload. So you do, so there are flags and a type. So what are the flags? Drag drop flags. Peak only. Except the for delivery. Except no draw default right. Okay. Peak only. So you can do peak only to not like consume the payload, I guess. Right? Okay. So yeah, I also want to check this function as well. Set drag drop payload. Here. So you put you have the label here and the data and condition. What is condition? So the data is, oh, it says string. What? You have to convert it to this type first. That's strange. Because from what I've seen, you could basically put anything in there. It's like any kind of pointer. So that's weird that that it has this type, right? I mean, you can turn anything into this type, but why not use like any type and then, or like a pointer, wait. Couldn't you just use like a pointer to anything and then, or even put like a type, comp time type? Okay, whatever. Anyway, let's see. Condition. What is condition? No, not cond. Condition. None, always, once. Okay. I guess always, or once, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, oh yeah, because it goes in here, like the source, it goes in here like each frame. So even though you started the drops, the drag, it goes in here anyway. So I'm just gonna do this. It's gonna be an asset. And then the data is gonna be the node. Now we have to turn it into like a slice. Of bytes. This node, I believe, is a pointer. Yes. So we could just do because the path, so the, or not the path, the slice has like a pointer and a length. But yeah, I guess it's just gonna be, can't you do this? Pointer, length. Okay, hang on. Bits, no. Okay, it's at size of type of node. Okay. Let's keep this around for now. I guess we can, whatever, let's just remove it. And then the condition is gonna be once, I think. Okay, so now we have a payload thing. So let's go here. And let's see, where were we? Payload, yeah, target here. So we wanna do, so now instead we do node is gonna be what was it called now? I have to go back. Oh. Yeah, okay, so it's, I think it's accept, drag, drop, payload. and then we have to put asset in there, and then you have drag drop flags, then you have accept peak only, I think. Okay, and then what we get out is the slice version of node. So we actually have to turn it into I'm just gonna look this up again here. Oh, we get a payload structure. Which has data, which is an anopaque nullable. Okay. So this is gonna be data, and then this is a node. Okay. So we're looking at the node. If the node, yeah, and then we do the switch here. We don't need SS library anymore. So if it's a file and the document type is texture, then we want to accept it. And I'm just gonna check the code again for accept. The sequence here. So they're saying that this. Oh, okay. So that this returns a null. I think if this is a null, we do or else. No. Let's grab the payload first. Or we'll do this. If then we get the payload. I have to move everything in here. Okay, and then the node is going to be payload.data. Okay. And then in here, if everything goes well, we want to do we want to do accept drag drop payload no flags. I don't think. I'm gonna double check the flags here. Drag drop flags. Yeah, just nothing there. So then we don't care about it. We just want to say that, okay, you can drop this now, because I think ImGui actually allocates the space for this payload, and then when you run accept, it will drop it maybe like next frame or something. I don't know. But we don't need to keep it anymore. We can just say this. Actually, it's a pointer, so why would it need to keep it though? Okay, maybe because when we set it, yeah, I don't think this is a good idea in that case. We actually want the pointer. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be this. Right, it's gonna be this. We're sending in the pointer. It's gonna copy the pointer, and yeah, it's not gonna copy the whole node. Okay, cool. So it's just gonna copy the pointer of the node. So then this should be fine. Yeah, we're gonna get out a pointer to a node. Yeah. Okay, okay. And then, yeah. Let's see if this runs. This probably won't compile now. Let's see what we get. Errors. 72. What? Unused. Oh. Don't need you. Use of undeclared unfair node. Expected time found and opaque. Okay, so do we do just a pointer cast here? Or how does this work? Pointer cast increases pointer alignment. Okay, I think there is a way to do. Okay, I'm just gonna search for the sig. Pointer cast any opaque. I'm just gonna check this here real quick. Align cast, okay. Align cast. So do you have to specify the alignment? Does not support structs. Oh, okay. So how? I guess we could use a podcast as well. But it's gonna be this. Legal pointcast to slice. How do you do this? So I want to make this into a byte slice. Hey Nathan Frank, Gamedev, welcome. If you have time, getting ZLS running zig build check on save is really nice. Yeah, my ZLS ever since I upgraded to 0.14.1, it has been giving me problems. So I have that on my to-do list to fix that, because it's really sometimes it's like you have to look up stuff instead of getting auto completion. So, and of course the error stuff. There's definitely a way to build a slice from a pointer. Yeah, it has to be. It has to work somehow. So I want this to be the slice, basically. Sig turn, wait, cast into slice of bytes. So can you do like pointer, like this is that? No, you couldn't do. I couldn't do pointer cast. Maybe I can do. As an array? No. No, I don't think. So I found this, but not sure what's going on here. It's making a pointer. So we have okay, now that's the other way around. Yeah, maybe but I don't need to copy it. Bytes as slice. What's the size? The size is a slice. Okay. This returns a slice of wait, no, this is the other way around, I think. This returns bytes into a slice of the teas. Slices bytes. So this one, it takes this type of the slice and it turns it into a slice of bytes. Okay. So I have to make it, well, it's a pointer, so can we do but it's not a slice though. I guess we could make it into a slice maybe. Okay, so the thing is, node is a pointer, but I want to save that as the pointer, not, I don't want to dereference it and copy the whole thing. I just want to copy the pointer here. So I want to pass in the pointer as bytes. Yes. So it should, isn't it like this? Wait. Oh, there's... Okay. This one. As bytes. You put in a pointer, you get... So let's see. We have a U32 here. And this is like the control. Right, so you put in a pointer to the value that you want to make into a byte. So, right, as bytes. That makes way more sense. There we go. Value of type bool ignored. Why would it return a bool? Let me check here. It returns a bool. Okay. Set. Well, here it just ignores it, so. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore the bool. I don't know what. Oh. I guess it's like, maybe it's like it sets it once, so it just goes in there once or something like that. I don't know. Oh, are we compiling? Oh, nice. Okay, so let's test now that we can change the texture. Oh, there you can see it actually. Oh, cool. So you get this drop thing as well. Nice, but then nothing happens. Okay. But it should have accepted it. Hmm. 5CFF. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's actually goes in there. So we should probably like have an if here in that case, and only do this when it actually happens. But why is the ID not updated? Oh, is the question. Okay, let's do a debug log here. And this is going to be setting texture ID to I just saw that. So if it spammed it now, we know it need to look for what? Okay, it didn't actually go in there. But we're only doing a peek, so it shouldn't like accept it fully here. Let's also do here first lookup here, texture path, context, get. Well, actually, yeah, no, this will be correct. And now we can use. Well, I guess also if this is null, then let's put this into a function instead. So this would be texture input. Okay. So if we don't find it, we'll return. Well, we don't want to return because we still want the drop target though. Okay, let's just do that. And then if we have a texture ID, we get it out and we put it in there. Otherwise, we just say none. Okay. So now if it's not set, this is gonna be none. If it is set, we're gonna find it and show it there. Okay. But why is it not going in here though? Oh, this doesn't exist. Okay. Get ID by file path. So get file path by ID. So get index. And we can actually use this here. Okay. Now, okay, I open up two things. Format. Cannot format optional, okay. Where is this? Menu. Wait. No, they have animation. 107. How? Oh, because this is nullable. Okay. But if it's null, if it's null, let's do that. Or else, no. So we catch both of the cases. So it can be null both in this else, but it also this can return null. So in both of the cases, I want to set this to none. Okay, there you go. Now I see the actual file name instead. But I bet this won't work. Yeah. So it's strange because it says it probably does this. Like if we draw something else in there, you can see it still lights up. So, I mean, one way we could do it is bake in the conditions into this string. I wanted to peek only because I wanted to check first if it's like a valid node. But I guess we could put the type in here as well. Yeah. So let's do asset. But what if you want like a more granular way of looking at it though? Is there a function for just looking at the payload? You can do get. And then you don't have to specify the type. Okay, so why are we not using get instead? Get drag drop payload. Okay, well, nothing happens still. scene? Is it because we're dragging it out like this? Now it says animation, I bet. No, still says scene. Also, what happens if we set this to none? Always. Yeah, I don't know what this does. Let's check this bowl here. Oh. Right. Let's see. Set drag drop. What? It didn't even go in there. Okay. Let's do this also. I want to check if it goes in here, like for like when you drag over something, if it goes in or what's happening. Yeah, see, it's like spamming this. But it only did it for texture, so yeah. So we should have a texture. I don't understand why it says scene. I mean, it might be something wrong with how we copy this stuff. I'm copying the pointer to this pointer so that the thing that gets stored is the pointer itself and not the content of the pointer. Because if I do like this, that should not work, because now it's a pointer. Now we're making the contents of the pointer as bytes, and that's not what I want. Or oh, maybe it is actually, we need to maybe we need to actually dereference here. Okay, let's go back to this. We put the pointer in, we dereference here, then we get this node here. But then this needs to be, we need to have this type, I think. It's gonna be complicated here for this. Oh, I started a bunch of stuff. Okay, now something at least happens here. Wait, here we go. Animation 119. Okay, we're getting in here. Okay, so right, so then I think we do an if here, because that is when it's actually gonna drop the thing. Yeah. Expected type both on payload. Oh, but I don't need the payload, I already have the payload, so. But we're checking that. Okay, now you see, we're calling accept, but we haven't released the button yet, so it knows that I can release it here. So if I release, then it does the thing inside. Okay, nice. And so we're reaching a reachable code. So it doesn't find this path here, which makes sense. We're going to check here. So get ID. So if it doesn't find it, we want to check here. Checking that. And looking up index. Okay. We're looking, okay. This one has a dot slash, which we should not have. So the nodes has dot slash. Right. Can we get rid of those? Is that a good idea? Maybe. Okay. I think this is the issue. Like when we are in this directory, we say the path is dot. So that's the root. It then goes ahead and uses this dot here. This is paths going in here. It's dot. It's also used down here. We're joining dot with name. So we're gonna get dot slash here. So I want to say if starts with dot slash, or actually it's like this, but it depends on if you're running on Linux or whatever. I really can't do. I think there is like a thing there, but I will just. Okay. And then, so without dot slash, so if it starts with dot slash, then we simply do this. We remove that 2 first. Otherwise, we can just go ahead and use it. Okay, and then we're gonna use without dot slash. Okay, let's see if this crashes everything. Seems to work. There we go. Seems to work perfectly. Okay. Except this one, because that one is not correct, I don't think. It's gonna be, what the hell was it? This one, yeah. So now I have to add it. There we are. And now, there we go. We got the tile set there working as well. Does this one work? No. So I have to basically, because they were added when the code didn't really work. Or, sorry. So I have to re-add them now when it does work. And there we go. Okay, cool. And let's just see if we if you update the texture, then the animation is also gonna be up, like, taking from the new source. I don't want to create a new animation. Oh. I think I clicked there by mistake. You should be able to cancel this, like have an X button here or something. And then we set it back to buttons and it looks good. Okay, cool. So let's clean up a little bit. We have a bunch of debug logs here somewhere. Where is it? We can remove this. Reading directory. Yeah, let's just remove these. Switch node, inline else, added accidentally. Yeah. Updating index. I guess we'll keep this because it's like when it's an error. This one just logs out everything. This one we can delete. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna check here. Yeah, we removed the logs here. Okay, cool. So we are on the way of replacing references with IDs. So animations now reference textures with IDs instead of the absolute file name. So we actually have that working. And we can also change the texture by drag and drop, dragging from the assets manager or the assets library a texture into the input field which accepts a texture. So that's really nice. Okay. So yeah, so we figured that out. So really cool. And yeah. Let's also try saving just to make sure everything works properly. So we'll change this texture, save, reload, change it back, save. Okay, awesome. Okay, yeah, so we have some more to do here. Animations are done. We have scenes. So this one has texture. This one has time map. Yeah. The time map also has textures. And I think that's it. The entity type. Actually, entity type also has a texture. And that's it, I think. Yeah, seeing time of, yeah. That's all that we have. Okay. So this is going on anyway. Yeah, so I have to go now, but yeah, that was really nice progress. We fixed a whole bunch of issues and we figured out how to do proper drag and drop with ImGUI. And yeah, now we have an input where we can drop a texture from the assets library. So we're continuing to sort of utilize the assets library as a tool where you can list all your entities, you can filter on them, you can search on them. Well, search is not done yet, but we're gonna get there. And using that as a tool to edit your things. Really cool. And yeah, we got animations up and running in this new system with IDs. So the only thing we need now is to continue on the same pattern, which was actually a lot simpler than I thought it was gonna be. And then when we're basically done there, we can go ahead and do this, which is not gonna be as painful as I think it sounded like from the beginning. Because it's basically isolated in the context. And then when we're done there, we basically moved everything from the old system to the new system. And from there, we can actually go ahead and start implementing moving assets and deleting assets, and also updating the index accordingly. So we can have more organization, we can create directories, we can move assets into directories and moving them out, and so on and so forth. So that will create a whole bunch of more like mobility with organizing the stuff. Right now we do have like the one thing for organizing. We have this, you can filter on the type of thing that you wanna look at, and yeah, so that's, so you can, here's all the scenes, here's all the time maps, animations, which some of them are broken, but yeah, so it's moving along really well. And what else? Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna, next time I'm probably gonna finish this here, like finish these things, and then next up is doing like making these things, because that's like the low-hanging fruit, I guess, from the result of this feature here. Okay, so, but yeah, thanks very much for watching, and hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.